Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 17 of 3IT Guys. I'm the amateur Mac Ritter. With us always is the man with the plan, Daryl Alexander, and our resident guru, Jeremy Lake. Today's topics cover not so much, but a lot. Kicking us off tonight will be Jeremy Lake, because he is currently the only one that has something to talk
Hey, it's not my fault. You guys are slackers.
about. Slacking, bro. Slacking.
Okay, so the first topic of the night, that this is something that really caught my eye, and I think is going to be a welcomed change for a lot of people. Microsoft is finally addressing the problem with update fragmentation. Starting in October of 2016, so another couple months, Windows 7 and 8 users will only see a single update each month. This is going to address any feature changes and security updates that are needed. And so users will have two choices: be completely patched or be vulnerable to security issues. I
like
think this.
I like
this
being
is a,
completely vulnerable personally.
right. Uh, oh my. Um, I do have to wonder if this will end up breaking, at least temporarily, some third-party tools such as the WSUS offline update tool, which I believe we've talked about on the podcast before, but for anybody that is new to the podcast, the WSUS offline update tool is basically a third-party tool that will run on Linux and Windows, and let you download updates from Microsoft to be applied to machines that may be offline or have slow internet connections or whatnot. So I'm not sure how that will work going forward, but there is an article on Microsoft's TechNet site, on their blog sub-site of that, and yeah, if you look up further simplifying servicing model for Windows 7 and Windows 8.1, you will find that article. And I'm sure it's going to be hitting multiple tech news sites over the coming couple of days. So, I welcome the change. I didn't know if you guys had heard about this one yet, but kind of interesting to me. Thoughts, comments?
Yeah. For those that don't know, put your settings on auto update. But do you
Yes.
think it's gonna be by them doing that? You know, because some of their updates is time consuming.
Yeah,
So
Right.
what if you're like one of those users like me that says, okay, yeah, I'll put you off for 4 hours, and then I'll put you off for another 4 hours, and then I'll just exit out of the whole thing because I'm tired of you bugging me. And
Yeah. Well, the article made it sound like, if you were to see the update in October, and bypass it, then come November, you would see another update, the November cumulative update, or whatever they're going to end up calling these, and that would supersede the previous month's update. So you would get all the October updates
damn.
with the November update, so it would still bring you completely up to date. Um,
One thing I found out after doing all those multiple PC clinics with you guys is that when this does happen, if a person is updating, you know, when you get ready to go to bed, you know, start updating your computer so it'll be
yep,
done in the morning. You
yep.
know, that's one of the best principles of updating and not interfering with what you got going on is to when you get ready to go to bed, just start your updates and let it do what it do.
Absolutely.
yeah, I certainly say, especially when you're defragging your computer, to do that because oh my Lanta. But yeah, I don't know. it just seems I seem a little scared that Windows is gonna wait a whole month every month to do updates. That just seems a little scary to me. But because if it's me, I think Windows should have like daily updates. I mean,
Well, for businesses, for business users, enterprise users, yeah, I don't know, because you get into larger organizations and they're going to have a set cycle for doing update patches anyways.
right.
For home users, I think they should just continuously run in the background and notify when they need to be applied, because home users are notorious for not doing updates when they should be doing them.
Well, everybody hates it because even when they're running in the background, like whenever I'm on a Windows machine and it's running fine, and then all of a sudden it's like you can see it creep. It's all first thing I always
Right.
check. Is this thing doing updates? Because everybody hates that. Like it always happens too, right when they're in the middle of something. At least for me, anyway. It's like
Right.
I'm in the middle of
ironic
doing
is
something.
The only time my machine updates is when I'm at Jeremy's house.
Because like we talked about before the show, he's got the best internet, bro.
Right, yeah, there we go.
Apparently.
So I don't know. I think it's good. I mean, at least we're gonna get on like a monthly schedule, but at the same time, like I said, I think it should be like a bi-weekly schedule, if anything.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said, a whole month without a Windows machine being updated seems a little scary.
But we'll see how long it is before Microsoft changes their mind on this one. This is something new. I think what they're trying to do with this change is bring Windows 7 and 8.1 more in line with how they're doing updates with Windows 10.
Okay.
So,
Does it still come with all the spyware?
actually, there was an article a while back that they were saying that the quote-unquote spying features of Windows 10 are being backported into Windows 7 and 8.1.
Oh shoot!
So,
It's
yeah.
just one giant continuous loop.
Yeah. Makes me happy that I'm a Linux and macOS user.
Air 5
Predominantly.
podcast. Air 5. There we go. Yep, there it is. Yep.
I got Linux, Mac, and Windows.
Well,
you don't ever use Linux.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, when you're like, hey, by the way, I'm certified in Ubuntu server now. I took a 1-hour class and I'm an expert now.
Well, I use my Kali a lot.
Yeah, but you don't run it full time though. You're still a Windows user full time.
No, I use my Mac more than anything because I
Still
do
should.
music almost every day.
That's to do music. I'm talking about daily tasks, everything.
Yeah,
Shut
I
up,
use my
jerk.
Mac.
Shut up, jerk.
Gmail, all that stuff.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The time is done. That's all I have to say about that.
How many of y'all vote to get Mac or Mac?
Nope, I was using one the other day when I was at Jeremy's. I was using Jeremy's, and I was like, what is this gypsy shit? Like, I'm all about it, but, man, I have already learned 2 OSs this year. I don't need to learn another one.
oh, come on.
Nope, I'm good. I'm trying to switch between tabs and stuff in the browser, and I'm like, dang, I gotta use this key instead of that key now, and like, oh, man. Like, why can't it be like every other one? Control.
Control T, it still works,
That was Command T, and it was in a whole other spot.
Control Tab will still switch between tabs.
I know that much. I think. Anywho.
I don't know.
That's why they
Daryl,
call
are
me-
you up next?
That's why they call me the
Sure.
amateur, ladies and gentlemen.
Sure. My
Talk about some IoT gadgets.
Yeah.
Okay.
You and the Internet of Things, man.
Yes, I love the internet. Well, I love half the Internet of Things. I love the half that's ingenuity. Is pushing the forefront of that using the internet for the common end user. But then something like the one of the new gadgets out is the
Toaster.
Inespresso. A freaking espresso machine connected to the internet.
Heck yeah, man. So I can have some Big B coffee whenever I want. That's right. I can have
You
my
can
double
set the timer
espresso.
on your coffee machine for that.
Yeah, but maybe I'm laying in bed and I forgot to set my timer, so now I can get on my smartphone and
No,
get her
you don't have to
done.
get on your smartphone because they got a gadget that connects all your stuff in your house. Oh, let me see here. That gadget is
Dun dun dun. Dun.
dun, 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 the Ray Super Remote Touchscreen Universal, or the Logitech Pop. That's what it is.
I was gonna say they got to come up with a better name for
No, no.
that.
It's called the Logitech Pop Smart Button. Connects all your music, your espresso machine, your refrigerator, your internet toaster, even your Mountain Dew pourer. It
That's
connects
right.
all that. So if you laying in bed, you don't have to pick up
Do
your
the
phone.
do.
Just pick up the pop, the Logitech Pop, and say select which item you want to get started, and bam, touch it. Then they got a gadget. Now, how do y'all feel about this? It's a wireless router. How do they even sound right? That seemed like it'd be so easy to just pummel and mess
Well, now,
over.
hold on now. Are you talking about a router with Wi-Fi capability or a straight wireless router?
No,
Because
Starry Station has a Wi-Fi wireless router.
I feel like it's
Um,
been around for a while.
a wireless router?
Sure.
What one of the lists I look at is called IoTlist.co, and it has the latest gadgets coming out and whatever. You might get a couple of investors call you and ask you, do you want to invest in the IoT? Oh, they also have an IoT outdoor camera,
Oh
which
my.
I was like, they already got cameras, outdoor cameras that's hooked up to your phones and all that. So I don't know if that's gonna be a big hit or whatever, but definitely the Wi-Fi wireless router. I just I would think all routers should be hard plug. What y'all think?
Well, I've got the Starry Station guy pulled up on Amazon right now,
Yeah.
and there are two Ethernet plugs on the back of it.
Okay.
Um, but it looks like the big thing on this, and the thing costs $280. Is that it's got its own built-in touchscreen.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
So I guess if you are dealing with people that are so technophobic that if it doesn't have a touch screen they can't set it up, then yeah, this would be perfect if they've got the $280 to shell up for it.
Man, I tell you what, half the printers at work got fancy touch screens on them, and I'm like, oh man, whatever happened to buttons? Like, Jesus, even printers got touch screens on them now.
Yeah,
Like, oh, not that it's a bad thing, but it's like, ooh,
that's
these are fancy.
that's why I stick to laser printers, which don't generally have touch screens on them.
If anybody
Wow.
is willing to donate a laser printer to myself, please hook me up.
Well, what do y'all think about the Samsung Gear VR virtual reality headset?
Oh man, virtual reality isn't gonna go anywhere. Damn it. I mean, I just don't see like you can't play Madden on it. 'Cause, like, what are you gonna do? Catch a ball and run into your living room wall? I mean, I just think it's
Boom.
well, I think it's kind of like okay, like you know how the Nintendo Wii was really popular for like a couple years. I mean, everybody loved it. It was cool, and then all the serious gamers went back to, hey, I just want a normal controller in my hand, and I want to freaking play some games. Or like Jeremy, he likes the old-fashioned arcade games. He's like, hey, these are cool, but I still like my old school things. I think virtual reality is going to be the same way. Now, the thing that I do think virtual reality could take off in is like virtual avatars. Like, have you guys ever seen the movie Gamer with Gerard Butler?
No.
No.
Oh, well, these people can basically control other human beings. Like, they have a chip inside their head, and they could make them do anything they want. I think virtual reality, something like that, or they can make like avatars and kind of have like a community would be something along those lines, something really popular, but I just don't see it taking off like uber crazy in the
Wow.
gaming
Well, that's
industry.
the part of IoT I don't like because for me, having that whole thing wrapped around your head, talking about virtualization, takes away the aspect of the Internet of Things. Because, like you said, you can just go get a PlayStation or Xbox and have it on the TV. You know, I
Well,
don't
that
know.
I mean, you got to pay $400 to get one of these uh, PlayStations or Xboxes. You know, not to mention the games are $60 or $70 a pop. Not to mention the if you want extra controllers, those are $60 a pop. If you want a decent headset, that's another $50. If you want any other gizmos and gadgets, now these virtual realities, I'm pretty sure the average cost is what, like $800, something like that. I mean, to me, yeah, it's like, dang, like, that's too much money. There ain't. I mean, at least for me, the average Joe, I'm not gonna want to spend what I could buy a laptop for in virtual
Right.
reality. I mean, personally, it's just not worth it. So
Well,
I
so
think,
far I've seen most of the gadgets I look at. Uh, the price point on them, you know, you really just got to be a fan of something or super lazy and super rich.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, you
Well,
know,
seriously, I mean, like I said, I could either buy two PlayStations or an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4, or I could buy a virtual reality that I'm going to get tired of in 3 months. Not even.
right.
Or it's probably going to break if you got kids. So,
What about AWS got a programmable button out and it's still in its beta stage, but it'll allow you to program a multitude of things connected to the internet.
what do you mean, like ordering stuff?
Uh, they said it's just, you know, you can hook it in. It's a programmable button. So whatever you program it to, like that
Well,
toaster.
oh, I haven't heard that because I know like Amazon has had like their push to order buttons for a while. So like you can get
Yeah,
one with
yeah.
like Tide or
Yeah.
household stuff. You know, if you just need stuff, you just push it and it automatically debits your card and ships to your door the next day or whatever. Um, and they've got their own version of like Siri. It comes in a little tower. I can't remember what it's called, Sophia or something like that.
Alexa.
Alexa, I was way off. Alexa, it can play music, all that stuff, and you can order things right from there. Hey, order me some new socks or something. Um,
And since it's listening all the time, it could probably listen to you having sex too.
yeah, buddy.
There we
Hey,
go. We had to go away from IT.
that's right. Sex sells. Hey, I'm just saying. If it
Our
makes money,
ratings
it
should
makes
go way
sense.
up now.
It
You just need,
says
you
it
just need a
says the
hot chick with it.
AWS IoT button is a great device for the hacker in all of us. Our team has thousands of ideas on how we can plan to use the button, from automating Postmates orders to starting our car. So, like I said, it's just a programmable button that's going to allow the lazy to be super lazy.
Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think they're actually just a takeoff, a programmable version of what they had been sending out before with the reorder buttons for Tide or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, I swear I saw something, and I don't remember where, but somebody was talking about getting a bunch of these buttons to use for testing, having many devices connected to a network at the same time, because apparently these are pretty cheap devices to get a hold of.
Right,
Uh,
yeah.
so, I guess from that aspect, it could be kind of interesting to see what they different people end up doing with them. Since they are programmable, it could open up some interesting avenues for new things, I guess. But um, for testing, a lot of devices on a single network, that could be kind of interesting.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's the
Hmm.
IoT of things. Did they ever get
Hmm.
those drones up and going for the Amazon drop-offs for the Tide and stuff?
They're still talking about those, but I
Dude,
don't
that's
know.
gonna be so dangerous because some jackass is gonna be like shooting them down, and they're gonna be crashing into houses. And
Oh, they
There,
supposed to do a pilot program
we're
somewhere in
we're
San
not we're
Francisco.
not there. We're not there in life
there,
yet.
there was already an incident down south somewhere where somebody was flying a drone over his property, and he thought it was there to spy on his teenage daughter out in a bathing suit or something, and so he did shoot it down.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He got out his 12 gauge and he just blew the doggone thing out of the sky. So,
Boom.
uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess drones aren't very resilient when it comes to buckshot.
Right. They gonna
Mm-hmm.
Kevlar coated drones.
So,
Okay.
but
Yeah. See, and remember when they came out with like hoverboards and they first came out with drones and stuff? Like, the world wasn't ready for that because everybody and their brother started having one before
right,
they even knew, like, and people started to run before they could crawl with them. So it was
yep,
like,
yep,
like in airports, now there's no hoverboard signs, no drones. You can't fly drones so close to airports anymore. This
right,
and that. I mean, like, as a society, as a whole, we just weren't ready for these inventions yet. And now, it's like we're trying to do too much stuff with them. It's like, no, we're not ready. We're still not ready for all
right.
this craziness.
We still
Not.
need mopeds and Schwinn's.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Red.
man. What was your first topic?
My first topic was Google is phasing out Chrome apps for Windows, Mac, and Linux users. That was way too late, bro. That was way too
Man.
late. That's why you don't work the soundboard. I work the soundboard.
Oh boy.
So, okay, so basically, due to the lack of use, Google is killing off their applications to all non-Chrome OS users. So you can still use these applications if you have a Chromebook or you're using Chrome OS, but if you're using Windows, Mac, or yes, even Linux, they're pretty much doing away with the majority of their applications. So like Google Hangouts, like extensions on your browsers, you can't have Hangouts on there. I'm assuming they just came out with a full new lineup too of like Google Drive stuff. So like you can screenshot and save stuff directly to your Google Drive. I'm thinking Grammarly is probably going to be on that list of getting kiboshed, which I'm fairly not excited about because like I use Grammarly and I have saved to Google Drive. Sheets, I did have Hangouts on there, but I just thought it kind of messed with my system a little too much. Besides, my internet isn't that great, so I figured the less the better. But I do use like AdBlock Plus, and if they're going to be doing away with a lot of these, then it's going to be kind of sad. I mean, but the reason behind it is they're trying to just make Chrome as a browser more simpler, just more cleaner. They're trying to clean it up and not have it all gunked up. And they already did away with. Do you guys all remember uh, the app launcher that you used to be able to download on your
Yep,
PC, put in
Yep.
like your taskbar? Yeah, they already did away with that. They've
yep,
done away with the notification center that you used to be able to get. But they're not just going to completely squash them. They say by the end of 2016, newly published apps will no longer be available for Chrome users running Windows, Mac, or Linux, and then by late 2017, the Chrome Web Store won't show Chrome apps for said users, and early 2018, Chrome apps will stop working on all those other OSs. So unless you're running Chrome OS, a lot of these extensions and applications aren't going to be available.
So they're
Which
making it exclusive.
basically, and I'm wondering though if they're going to keep, because they just came out with some new stuff not too long ago, and I find this one really good, although I think it's part of a whole Grandmaster scheme, is like you can save directly to Google Drive. So whatever web page you're on, or if you found an interesting article or anything like that, you can save directly to Google Drive. You don't have to like copy it no more and then put it in Google Drive. You just click a button, poof, and it saves in there. And my whole theory behind that is they're just trying to get people to use up all their free space, so they end up buying more.
Right, because they want to get rid of all the 15 gigs they saved.
Yes, just like how, Google is offering all these free services and they're budging their way into the education industry by like they're just bullying people around. Well, they're saving money on, not having to buy all these extra trimmings because Google is offering the same stuff. Well, not the same stuff, but similar, almost the same stuff as like Microsoft, but they're offering it for free, freeing up more money so you can buy more Chromebooks and more Google products, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a bummer, but honestly, like I don't use too many of them. I just use a few, and I hope I'll still be able to use them for a little while. But
Which brings us to something Jeremy told me earlier this week about where is the 3IT guys going, Jeremy?
Where are the three IT guys going?
yeah, where are we going?
YouTube?
Oh well, that's it. It's a change that Google is imposing on us. They're taking the Hangouts, and actually, I did that for tonight's episode.
Okay.
I got that figured out. That's why I was on and working on this thing at like 10 minutes to 7, which was to try to figure that change out. And really, the difference is that the Hangouts functionality is moving from being on Google Plus to being a part of YouTube. And it really doesn't change all that much. There are some other streaming options that are now going to be available, which I played with for just a little while, and we'll need to do some testing on that at some other point in time, just to make sure that all three of us can still, or at least a couple of us can join in the stream. Yeah, so that's where the change is happening, and other than being less than obvious as far as where they have placed this option now, it isn't really changing all that much. Just the location of it.
Okay. There we have it.
So it's really not going far.
No.
Cool.
And hopefully, as they bring that over to YouTube, they will streamline it a little bit and make it a little more obvious on where and how to launch things. Right now, it's still tagged as beta, but I think that's just a misnomer until they get it to the point where they officially want to launch it and they take down the Google Plus side of things for Hangouts.
Honestly, who all uses Google Plus?
Me.
I know, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, do you use it like every single day? Is it part of like, your daily repertoire?
No.
Yeah, I have an account, and I can't remember the last time I logged into it.
I rarely go directly to Google Plus, and I was on it like within a week of it launching, and I had high hopes that it was going to kill off Facebook because I really
Oh man.
I'd get rid of Facebook if it weren't for keeping in touch with people I went to school with, and that's the only way I have contact with them.
It's going to be kind of
Really?
interesting to see because every big giant eventually falls, right? So, I mean,
Right.
it's inevitable that Facebook eventually is going to die, just like
Right.
MySpace, right? When MySpace was up, I remember MySpace was just a little bit before my time, and everybody had one. It was the coolest thing. And then Facebook came in and just mauled MySpace, and
Yeah.
it just literally died. I wonder what's going to be the next big thing what's going to be the Facebook killer?
Pinterest.
Nah,
Twitter.
nah,
No.
nah. It'll be interesting to see, though.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. J-Dub, take us away with Linux Foundation offering new online security course.
All right, so yeah, basically the Linux Foundation is they've offered courses in the past, and they have recently launched a new online security course. Um, and the article, quote from the article says, the prerequisite for this course really is that the person is actually in a job where this matters. So if you're in a job where you are in charge of securing Linux systems, then this course is for you, or they want to be for you. The cost is $199 for a single person, and they may offer discounts for groups of 5 or more.
That's
Um,
$1,000. Oh my.
yeah, so I think this is interesting that they're starting to offer more courses. It's kind of a slow build-up, but excuse me. I think that I would personally put a little more um, strength behind Linux courses and certifications offered through the Linux Foundation compared to something like CompTIA. Um, you know, I did have the opportunity to sit for the first part of Linux Plus earlier this year, and the thing that struck me as odd is one of the questions was related to Windows, and it's like, where
Wow.
where do you get a Windows question when the course is Linux Plus? So yeah, it kind of made me sit back and scratch my head. But yeah, I think the Linux Foundation courses could be kind of interesting, and you know that might be something I look at in the future to do a deeper dive into, see how their material is laid out, and go from there.
You know what though? I mean, Linux has really been gaining some traction in the last 5, 10 years, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they are on the up and rise. Let's be honest. And also a lot of big corporations, a lot of their back-end stuff is run on Linux. I
Yep.
mean,
Absolutely.
one of the biggest ones is Blizzard. All their
Yep.
back-end stuff is ran on Red Hat. Look at that. I mean, so I mean, I think it's just, especially with Microsoft and Linux kind of merging and working together, in Windows 10, plus with Windows, talking about this, that, and the other. I think a lot of users are getting more informed about things, and I know a lot of users, or at least a lot more anyway, more than we've seen in the past, are switching to say Ubuntu or
Right.
Another form of Linux instead of running Windows. And really, the main reason is it's freaking free. I mean, if you're like an average user and you don't play a ton of games, you don't do a bunch of crazy stuff, and you just need an operating system, you don't want to spend $200 for one, boom. Ubuntu is not a bad option at all. And even if you are a gamer, there are little tweaks and things that you can do to get those games to run on a Linux kernel. So, I mean, yeah, I like it. Heck yeah. More classes. More courses.
The other thing, the other place where Linux can be really useful is if you've got a machine that is still running Windows XP. Grab a copy of Linux, put it on that machine, and at least you're going to have a machine that's going to get security updates.
Yes.
Because, frankly, if you're running XP nearly 2.5 years after it's been discontinued for getting security updates, if you get hit with a virus or ransomware or whatever, you're basically SOL. Because
Yes,
the farther
sir.
we get from that point where it was discontinued, the harder it's going to be to get somebody that actually knows the system well enough inside and out to fix the problems. And you really need to get on the bandwagon, upgrade to something newer. You can get used Windows 7 machines, and you'd be better off than using the machine you've got right now.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think the courses could be really interesting, and being backed by somebody that's the Linux Foundation, having their roots in Linux, and not being across the board trying to do this, that, and everything else for certifications. I think you may get a little bit better quality certification.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are, kind of on their own, It's kind of like Trump. No one owns Trump. You know what I mean?
Oh my, not the politics.
Oh
No.
my.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, man. Wasn't Trump just in your neck of the woods there, J-Dub? Did you see any naked statues?
No naked statues around here, but
Come on, man. Dang. That would be hilarious. Just to see a naked statue of Trump right in front of you.
No.
if there would have been a naked statue, I would have put it in the back of the Impala and brought it over to your place and put it right in front of your kitchen window.
Yes, you could have put it inside, looking out of my kitchen window. Yes, I would have done it.
Oh my Atlanta.
Not that I'm a Trump supporter. I just think that that's freaking hilarious.
Well, yeah, with the statues are called "The Emperor Has No Balls."
Hey, man, he's still a billionaire. He had to do something right.
You had to get him started, didn't you?
Well, hey, everybody hates on Trump and say, "Oh, well, his daddy gave him $2 million." Yada yada yada. He took that $2 million and turned it into $4 billion. Okay, the man did something right. Come on, you got to give him credit for that.
I ain't giving him credit for nothing.
All right,
If your
then.
dad can give you $2 billion, that means you a snob anyway.
$2 billion. Whatever, man.
Tell him
All
go
right.
wash some dishes at Fazoli's or something and earn a hard dollar.
Hey, did you guys know that Samuel L. Jackson wasn't 40? He was 46 until he got his first movie role.
What is
Really?
he now? About 80?
Hmm.
He's about 80 years old now, ain't he?
He's not 80, but I did not believe that. I saw that the other day, and I'm like, I'm sure he was not 46 when he played in Pulp Fiction. And I looked it up, and the Mamma Jamma was 46 when he starred in freaking Pulp Fiction. I couldn't believe it.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but I mean, look at what he did for a hairdo. You could dye your hair if he had any gray hairs, and he had so much.
Yeah, but he looked like he was in his 20s. He looked
Stuff
like he
to
was
make
in
his
his
hair shiny
early
like that.
to mid 20s, and the man was almost 50 years old, though. What a stud.
Yeah.
You better look out, Chuck Norris, because you're not the only guy that's pushing 70 that looks good.
Oh, Chuck. Kung Fu Master Chuck.
That's
Oh,
right.
Yeah, well, I would put
Jim.
Sam Jackson up against Chuck Norris any day. I mean, he did have a wallet that said "Bad MFer" in Pulp Fiction, so I think just given that tidbit alone, I'd put him up against Chuck Norris any day.
Heck yeah, and he's going to go, how's it taste, mother?
Right.
All right.
Oh, man.
Daryl, do you have another topic that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about reflections.
Reflections. Like, I'm looking in the mirror reflection?
No, like you looking back in time reflection. We
Hold
had
on, is this one of our
we found us a client viewers earlier this week, and we was doing some work, and just kicking it around, no name dropping. Some of the things we appreciated about the doing the job, and did we add on to our skill set. And Jeremy is now the official Cat 5e Ethernet cord maker in the world.
That man's times on making a cable compared to your times making a cable is just night and day, brother. Night and day.
He made enough cables to go around the circumference of the earth twice.
It
Oh,
sure
man.
felt like it.
Oh, it was crazy. It's
So
nuts.
what's y'all input on that?
My input
Yeah, yours.
on what, making cables?
No, on the whole experience.
It was good, definitely. I think as one of like I said, one of our first uh, bigger clients. Definitely taught us some stuff. What to look for next time, and things to pitch in the beginning instead of either halfway through the job or partway through the job. It's definitely been a good experience, and I think definitely like he said he's going to try and be, the owner of the place said, he's going to be as transparent as possible. I definitely think he's done a good job of, working with us and just saying, yeah, okay, sure, you guys are professionals, do it, whatever. So,
Guru?
I think that this particular client was interesting. I was a little shocked at the beginning that the first day you and I went up there that we started talking about some things and he was like, "Can you do this today?" It's like that just kind of took me a little by surprise because most places want to run it through a committee and get approval from this person or that person, but the nice thing is that we have been dealing with an owner of the company instead of middle management or whatever you want to call them. So that's been pretty good. I think we've definitely learned some things up there, things to watch out for. I think there are definitely questions that we know now that can be asked going into the next job. We had made an assumption about being able to access their first floor demarc point, and come to find out that we could have accessed it from another stairwell in the building all along. And,
Right. Yeah.
Just little things like that can be chalked up as live and learn type situations and experiences. But overall, I think it's been a very positive experience. Definitely one of the bigger clients I've had the opportunity to work with, or for, or both, I guess. But it's been, for me personally, I have really enjoyed that they right off the bat treated us as professionals and they gave us respect. Because of things that we knew how to do, and they understood and admitted to themselves that it was outside of their areas of expertise, and that they needed to bring in somebody to handle some of these issues that they were having. So, I guess at the end of the day, it's been a feel-good type of thing for me to get a little bit more respect than some previous employers of mine were willing to give. Again, no name dropping on those. But
my lips are sealed.
yeah, it was kind of a little bit of a boost for me to have that kind of opportunity and experience with this particular client and get some of that respect that I feel like has been lacking in a previous job for a while now. So
Certainly feels good to be wanted, huh?
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think, like I said, I think I learned a lot, especially I'm sure I wasn't there for the initial consultation, but I'm sure it was kind of like the first time you had sex. You had no idea what you were doing, and it was over way too fast. So now I think we definitely kind of know, some more questions that we could ask, some more things to look for, for our viewers out there. We've been going good for about a year now with our own small business, but this is kind of like the first big client that we've landed, and we were just really ambitious to get in there and get the job done and get to work, and we kind of overlooked a few things, but we definitely learned a lot during this first transaction, if you will. about what to do next time and what to look for. Like I said, what kind of questions to ask, access to the building, all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah, size does matter because in comparison to the little clients we have, it was a whole different ball game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right. What's your next topic? Mactacular.
My next topic really isn't too exciting, but it's kind of funny, and I'm sure we have some Pokemon Go listeners out there. I mean, for anyone who is listening, I'm sure you are quite the nerd in your own respect. So, wow, don't be a jerk, bro. Just a bully. I almost put, you know what? I almost put cyberbullying on the topic sheet, and we might have to do a segment on it sooner or later because it is getting pretty big. It's actually one of the main causes leading up to, I want to say it's number 2 amongst the list of teen suicides in today's day and age.
Oh my.
Cyberbullying, yeah, right? I mean, whatever happened to just getting a good old-fashioned ass whooping where you get your shoes, coat, and your hat taken? I mean, come on now.
Wow.
Come on, that's another.
Cyberbullying.
Yeah. But anywho, so the creators of Pokemon Go are being sued, and I have the article right here. Um, a Michigan couple. It has been over 1 month since Pokemon Go was released in the U.S., and the game's popularity isn't diminishing. For one Michigan couple, the number of players trying to catch them all has been too much. I won't name the names. Well, I guess I can because the article is published. Scott and Jamie Dodich filed a class action lawsuit against Pokemon Go. According to WDIV, the pair claimed that Pokemon Gym and Pokestops placed in Wabi Park in St. Clair Shores has turned their neighborhood into a nightmare. They say that we do not feel safe sitting on our front porch. A couple said in the lawsuit in one instance when Gotts asked a player to leave their property, he was told to shut the boop or else.
Wow.
Shut up, B, or else. Yeah. They say that they live and yada, 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 but they say that life has been overrun by Pokemon Go players over the last several weeks, some of whom blocked driveways with their vehicles, trespassed on property, trampled over gardens, and peered through windows. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
What,
yeah.
you had Pokemons in your house now?
They're just on the GPS, bro. I've heard of people knocking on people's front doors asking to go in the backyard because there's a Pikachu in the backyard.
They were trying to peek at you.
Yeah,
Right.
Pikachu. I mean, we've all seen the Clint Eastwoods of you're about to get a Glockachu. If you don't
Right.
get off of
Yes.
my property. Says that the suit alleges that the placement of the attractions constitutes a continuing invasion of the use and enjoyment. The pair seeks monetary damages, a ban on Pokemon in the park, and class action status to represent other property owners who have experienced similar problems. Earlier this month, Iran became the first country to ban Pokemon Go due to unspecified security concerns. Now, what
Wow.
I've heard about Iran is that they have had a few accidents on some military bases because some of their operatives were playing Pokemon Go and either wandered off into some restricted areas and either saw some things that they weren't supposed to see or actually gotten hurt or killed because I've heard one of them walked into a minefield.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
So yes, Iran. I know the military in Iran has banned Pokemon Go, but this is the first that I've heard that Iran became the
Wow.
first country to completely ban Pokemon Go.
Wow.
So
So, what type of GPS is they using? Did they write the GPS program, or is it tied into like
no, it's just an
Google
app.
Earth?
Well, no, it's just an app that accesses your location, and then basically, I haven't played it. I don't even know what it looks like, but what I'm assuming is it basically pulls up a map of your area and it puts Pokemon on the map, and you got to go and find them. That's what I'm
Right.
assuming.
Wow.
So I mean, yeah, you're wandering into people's yards, onto their property. People have been getting hurt. I've heard of people finding dead bodies because they're
Wow.
wandering into like ditches and back alleys, and they're finding someone who had passed or whatever. Um, and I've heard we've all seen all the memes on Facebook of all the Pokemon. Like they need to make a Pokemon called Job so y'all can find it.
Yeah.
Like, now, like I remember, like the first week that Pokemon Go was released, I was actually at work and I was walking to the middle school, and I saw two people walking on the street, and one of them was barefoot, and it looked like he just crawled out of a dumpster. He was wearing some pajama pants and a white T-shirt that was all stained up and dirty, and I'm like, man, this guy is devoted. He's been hunting Pokemon for days. It looks like he even abandoned his
Wow.
shoes because he's so devoted to finding these Pokemon.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I've even seen cars with signs on the back of them that says "Make frequent stops playing Pokemon Go," all sorts of stuff. So I've heard two sides of the story. One of them is, hey, you guys are hating on all these gamers and picking on all these kids, but guess what? They're going outside. They're being involved and active in their community now. Blah 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 blah. Yada yada yada. Whatever they want to. To me personally, hey, you don't want to contribute to society, but you're being an active member of your community now, whatever. And then there's the other side of, hey, get off my lawn.
Right.
So it's kind of like, geez, oh Pete, it's like the game has been popular and nothing but on the rise, although I have heard that it is on the downfall now, like every other good game, even though so suddenly, like, it was cool, now it's like, well, shit, now I still have to go outside to find Pokemon, damn. So... Right. So I don't know. It's just funny. I mean, it was bound to happen. Someone's going to file a complaint or even a lawsuit. But I thought I'd put that on a podcast because it is a Michigan couple, and we do reside, work, and the podcast takes place in Michigan.
Glove life.
That's
Mitten
right.
life.
That's right. If the glove don't fit.
You mustn't quit. Good Lord. No politics.
So I just thought that was a pretty funny article reading that. Like, Pokemon Go has made our neighborhood into a nightmare. So, and I can only imagine with most of the teenagers these days, because teenagers these days are just freaking rude. And I know every generation says that about every teenage generation, but we are by far on the worst generation of teenagers, I think, in the history of mankind so far. So, yeah, this was a pretty funny article.
Nice. Okay. You got anything else, Big J?
Excuse me.
Because
Your heart.
Jesus.
I've got one more main topic and then the rapid fire topics to go through real quick.
Rapid fire. I'm ready, baby.
All right. So my last bigger topic is that this past week Microsoft has announced that they have open sourced PowerShell, and they are making it available on both Linux and macOS. Right. So earlier this year, Microsoft, I believe it was earlier this year, maybe it was last fall even, Microsoft released .NET Core for Linux and macOS, and so this is PowerShell requires the .NET Core to run, but they published about an hour-long video, Microsoft did, and some of the things that they could do with this are kind of interesting, I have to admit. However, the thing that the idea that immediately crossed my mind was, well, a few months back there was news made that the Bash shell from Linux was through a partnership with Canonical coming to Windows 10, and there's a Linux subsystem for Windows now. And of course, what happens with Windows? Well, there were security issues found because of this Linux subsystem and the way it was implemented on top of Windows. So the immediate thought for me is, well, okay, so you install .NET Core and PowerShell on Linux or Mac OS. Are you adding security problems to those operating systems? This remains to be seen because PowerShell is currently only available in, I believe it's an alpha quality version right now, but it's available for testing. If I install it, it's going to be on a virtual machine that will basically be used for testing of this and not much else until they release the final production quality version. But I have to give props to Satya Nadella. He has truly changed the way Microsoft approaches things. They are, at least at the surface level, supporting Linux a little bit better. I wish they would, call off their lawsuits against Android stuff and stop, extorting money from Android handset makers to make money off from Android, which, they did no work on. So, but, who knows? In another few years, maybe they will finally drop those lawsuits and everybody will just get along. But I'm not going to hold my breath at the same time.
Right.
Thoughts, comments?
Well, I'll come over and see what you do in your VM, because I won't be downloading it. You said it's in the polished alpha version, so they still ain't even released the beta version.
Right.
Man, yeah, I'll see what you do in your VM.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that in a future episode that I might have this installed and, I could do a demo of it in another episode of the 3IT Guys podcast. I did not have time due to family stopping in today to get that demo up and going.
Okay.
So
It's all good. It's all good. Okay, I do have one more topic. It's not too important though.
okay.
Everything we do is important, young Padawan.
This isn't that important, but okay.
It must be politics.
Okay, you guys do know I've been on the the Galaxy Note 7 rage lately.
Yes. Yes.
And I've been looking at all, the specs and all the trim and all that great. Well, apparently, we all know that Gorilla Glass 4 was incredible, right? Made your phone pretty resistible to cracking and breaking, the screen anyway. Pretty scratch resistant, all that good news. Well, apparently Gorilla Glass 5 is even better. Supposed to be
Of course.
Oh yeah, right? Because it goes in numerical order. Anywho, but apparently it is not as scratch resistant as GG4.
Huh.
So if you are looking in, apparently the Note 7 is top of the line phone, great phone, good to bend and do all that good stuff. Very resistant. Well, not good to bend. It won't bend. That's what I'm saying. But apparently though, the Gorilla Glass 5 will scratch a little bit easier. So for all you out there looking to get one of these new phones with the Gorilla Glass 5, I still recommend a tempered glass screen protector. Don't go cheap on that stuff.
By the time they get the Gorilla Glass 10, it'll be bulletproof.
Basically. Yeah, like I have a tempered glass screen protector on my phone, and shoot, I don't even have any scratches on the screen protector, to be honest with you. I mean, that's good stuff. So, but I mean, it is still scratch resistant, but apparently some tests have been shown and done, and it can get scratched a lot easier than its predecessor, GG4. So.
Wow. Okay.
But the cool thing is that whole lineup, that whole Galaxy, the whole 7 lineup there, they're all water resistant. You can drop them into up to 5 feet of water for 30 minutes without any special case or anything like that, and they're supposed to be good to go. They say that if you drop your phone, 80% of the time it will not become damaged. Those are a lot better odds than 10 years ago. No, it's just supposed to be, that whole lineup is just supposed to be pretty stellar. And into looking to get in a new phone, I'm still torn between either getting one of Google's handsets or getting a Samsung. I don't know. Galaxy sounds pretty cool. And that Note, man, it's just a sexy phone.
Well, the amateur has spoken, everyone.
All right.
The amateur has spoken. So, are we going to do
Yeah.
the rapid fire topics? Are we going to get into it?
Sure.
Ladies and
Let's
gentlemen.
let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing a whole new subject to the podcast. These are rapid fire topics. We're going to spend roughly 30 seconds or less talking about each of them. And I have no idea how this is going to go because we did not rehearse any of this stuff. So, all I know is that we're going to get a little when it's
All right.
when the time is coming to an end, and then we will hear the gong. So, Jeremy, go ahead and kick us off with our first one.
All right, first one is the new version of Fedora. Fedora 25 is to ship with and run the Wayland server by default instead of x.org. There are different groups, Canonical being one, and then there's a more independent group trying to replace the Xorg server for graphical interfaces on Linux. And Wayland is one of those. And Fedora is the first to ship with it.
So, you're done. You're done.
Okay.
Next topic.
All right. Do we want to have any comments before we go to the next topic or not?
Yeah, I got a comment. I pass.
Sure. That's not a comment. That's just being. And I gotta say, bro, you gotta get some better lighting in there, man. You just want like one big black blur, man. I can see your teeth.
Wow, you went there.
We got to get some soft lighting for your apartment, homie, because we cannot see you, man.
Oh, well, see, you should have told me at the beginning of it. And you gonna tell
No,
me
no, I wanted to wait till the end. I'm a jerk like that. All right, Jeremy, hit us with our next one.
Okay.
Ready, set, go.
There's a new anti-Google research group now in existence, and apparently it is sponsored and funded by Oracle, which seems to be a little butthurt because they lost a lawsuit against Google earlier this year. So,
That's
comments?
it?
No comments?
So they're a little upset because they lost the battle, huh?
Right, so they've got this anti-Google research group.
Anti-Google research. You know, I've heard before, and I think we've heard this. I think we've heard this before that Bing, okay, stands for because it's not Google.
Right, right.
And I'm sorry, but Google is such a powerhouse. I mean,
right.
Google actually just, there's been. Dang, I just read this article today, and I cannot remember where it's from or who. Google is basically asking, somebody keeps filing lawsuits against Google, just one right after another, boom, 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 and Google has actually asked the courts to disregard all these lawsuits because they're just burning money and time and resources to all this. That wasn't a topic, but that's part of the comment section. There's no time on the comment section. Anywho, yeah. Someone's been continuously filing lawsuits against Google, and Google's like, hey, fucking knock it off, would you? Jeez. You guys are being annoying. So they've asked the courts to just disregard any more lawsuits that they bring towards them. And honestly, do you really think you're going to win?
Right.
Even if Google is in the wrong, do you really think you're going to win? All right. Another one?
All right.
Ready, set, go.
All right. There's an article explaining the Linux and Unix-like file system layout compared to Windows. The site is linuxandubuntu.com. And if you search for Linux file system structure explained, you can find and read that article.
What is the article about?
It's about the file system layout. Because it's different than Windows.
I see that.
Oh
I've seen
man.
that part, but man, these aren't rapid fire subjects. You got to like get into them and get them going, bro.
There's pictures.
Is there pop-ups too?
No, but there's pictures.
Oh
There's
man.
pictures. All right. Any more of these you want to do?
Let's see. There is a website called 360training.com, which offers IT courses amongst others. And this is actually the site being utilized by the Linux Foundation for their new online security course.
No, we are not being endorsed by them. We're just a fan.
Right.
Yep.
Comments on that one?
I haven't been able to look it over.
Get her done.
Get her
Okay.
done.
So the last rapid fire topic is the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, blasts Microsoft over their Windows 10 tactics. For those that aren't familiar, this is where Microsoft really pushed hard to get people to install Windows 10, even changing the functionality of the X in the corner of a dialog box so that it accepted the terms and started the install rather than quitting.
Yes, and actually, I know someone personally that lives in this house that got tricked by that.
And also, I did an article a couple episodes ago where the lady, the little business owner, actually sued Microsoft for the Force upgrade. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's been a big issue.
What a conundrum. Oh,
Okay.
well, it's bound to happen.
So
All right. Anything
that
else,
was the
gentlemen?
last of my rapid fires. So I don't know if people like that or not, but I thought it was worth trying out, and we can bring it back or disregard it for future episodes.
Yeah, give us the good old Caesar thumbs up or thumbs down.
Oh
All
my.
right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 17 of 3IT Guys. Tell us what you think. Leave us a comment and a like. It's always much appreciated. And we will see you next week.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Have a good night, everybody.
Goodbye.